So, today's topic of conversation is Miss Addison Rae's Rebrand and how I think it is one of the most peculiar, spectacular thing that has occurred in this decade. I just want to give you guys some background before we start. This is Addison Rae. She was formerly known as one of the. In her first year, she gained over 1 million followers and is now one of the most followed people on the app with around like 84 million followers, which is an astronomical amount, and it's insane and it's crazy, and I think that's one of the most bizarre things I've ever heard in my entire life. However, after this, we did see a lot of her, a lot of interviews, a lot of performances, her on red carpet. She was very overexposed. And the people did not take kindly to this, as people usually don't. As quickly as something rises, and as hard as something rises, will be it's equivalent to how slow, and I mean how fast it flops and how fast it becomes kind of this hatred towards. I think as fast as something rises, as fast it will drop. Nothing in the social media realm stays relevant and loved forever. Somebody will make a mistake, somebody will find something, and that is what happened here. Lots of things were found about these people on the internet. Lots of drama occurred. Dramageddon, if you were there, part 2. After the whole makeup stuff, this was like the biggest thing of 2020, 2021, and she was part of it. And so people did not take kindly to Addison because they felt that she was talentless. They felt that she was only pretty and had nothing to her, was cringy, was annoying, just didn't fall place in the realm of celebrity that she was reaching. Anyways, following that kind of splurb, this is also my second time filming this, so if I look a little annoyed, it's because I had to re-explain all of this all over again. However, after this 2020-2021 rise in fame that Addison received, she decided to diversify her career because this is the smartest thing she could have done in that moment. It just happened to be at the same time that her and the people around her were falling in badly in the graces of people. So in 2021, she starred in the movie He's All That, which is a remake of the cult classic She's All That. People did not take kindly to this. They did not appreciate this, and they felt like she was just trying too hard, which also was exactly the same reaction when she released her song in early 2021, Obsessed. They felt like her vocals were just not great. They felt like the lyrics were not great. They felt like she was gaining too much recognition, like in performance wise. I mean, she was on Jimmy Fallon and people did not like that because they did not believe she had the stamina to be on Jimmy Fallon with a song like that, and it only being because of her TikTok presence. I think people just were not loving that fact. It was like 2 + 2 does not equal 8. People were just upset. They felt like everything was being handed to her and she did not have to work for it and she was not improving. It was simply handed to her on a silver platter, which I will say, if I was Addison and I was given the opportunity to go on Jimmy Fallon, I'm gonna go on Jimmy Fallon. Like, let's be so for real. I think the people that were criticizing her were normal people like you and me. But the thing is, she is no longer like you and me. She is famous. She has all these opportunities. When you are filled with all of these opportunities, you say yes to them because you feel like if you say no, it could ruin your relationship with someone, or an opportunity similar to it cannot come again. So you just say yes. And I believe she was a very yes girl, and everyone around her was yes people, and that just didn't help her get out of that slump that was TikTok fame, and was just like silly videos as opposed to real, authentic, raw talent. And I think 2021 was kind of that year that really solidified her as cringy, as annoying, as talentless, when in reality I just think it was bad timing. I think if she was maybe not a main character in He's All That, it would have helped a little bit more, because the movie overall was just not very good. And the actors on there are good actors. I mean, the other starring actor was Tanner Buchanan, which is on Cobra Kai, and he's not a bad actor. It's just the script, the cinematography. It was just a cheesy, bad movie, and I think her being in it and her name being the driving force of much of the promotion just wasn't great and did not help her case at all whatsoever. And then moving along to her song Obsessed, again, I think it was just a little too soon into her rising fame. I think at that time a lot of people were releasing music, and honestly, when everybody's doing something, when everyone's trying to get out of what they are and everyone is doing the same thing, it becomes repetitive. It becomes like a trope. It doesn't become something people take seriously. And I think that because she released music after Dixie D'Amelio's song, which did not do very great, I think people just had that notion of the TikTok to musician pop star track. I think people just saw Dixie D'Amelio and then they saw Addison do the same thing, and they did not take her seriously because of her predecessors. I'll find the word and I'll just ad-lib it. Anyways, because also Nessa Barrett was doing music, and I believe like the Josh Richards diss track and Little Huddy, and then Charlie D'Amelio even released a song. Like, I think at that point when everyone is doing the same thing, you're just not taken seriously, and I think she just wasn't taken seriously. And I also think her performance and her music video was just too formulaic, too generic, and I think it wasn't her, it was this caricature of her. And I will talk about this quite a bit. I feel like 2019 through 2021 was just a big caricature. I do not think it was her. I think it was what people wanted her to be, which was this small town girl from Louisiana turned LA starlet, but like very happy and preppy and girly, and I just don't think that was her. I just don't think that was her vibe. I don't think her vibe was very PG. I don't think her vibe was very like, you know, she was a college student when she got famous. She was 19 when she gained all of this, and I'm 19 right now, and like, if I'm gonna be so honest, if I got famous at 19 and went to LA and had all these opportunities, it's overwhelming and it's tough. And I am from LA originally, like I'm an LA native, and it's an overwhelming city, so I do not blame her for being overwhelmed and for being like, you know, taken aback by all these opportunities. But I also think she was trying to be what everyone wanted her to be, and was just so excited about all these opportunities and was so like enthralled with the world around her that she just said yes to everything. She did everything because that's what you feel like you need to do when you are in the city, when you are around people that are doing everything. So you need to do everything. You need to be more, you need to be competitive, you need to be this, that, and the third. And I just feel like it wasn't her, you know. She was doing these like skit YouTube videos and like challenges and stuff. I just don't think like the people around were the right people for her, that she was being managed like incorrectly. I think her family being super uber involved in social media themselves didn't help. I just think it was a mess. And I do think from 2019 to 2021, it was just a caricature, and it was the book that had to close and it was a new one that had to be opened, which is where the rebrand starts. So going into 2023, in January of 2023, her music got released, which was her leaked EP with songs like To Die For, Got It Bad, Nothing On But The Radio, and It Could Have Been You. These songs skyrocketed so highly on like gay TikTok, in the LGBTQ community. She became the gay pop princess, and people wanted her music, and it was held with such high recognition, which is so crazy when hearing everything I just explained about how earlier she was just this like thing people made fun of, to now she was this thing that people wanted. And I think starting this like rebrand, the thing that worked was that she disappeared, she went away, she hid herself, she was not overexposing herself anymore. Because when you do press, when you do this, when you do that, when you're releasing a million things, when you're here, there, that, and third, your face, your voice, everything about you is everywhere. And I think people do not take kindly to that. People do not like seeing you all the time. I think the best actors the most beloved actors, the most beloved musicians are just not in your face all the time. And I think that is what started her rebrand. That is what solidified her rebrand. And that is really the basis of the next 2 years. Was her mystique, was her mystery, was her disappearance. Because people go digging, people want to know, which is why these songs got leaked, because people were like, hey, she was everywhere and then she kind of disappeared. Where's she at? People leaked these songs, and then they're like, wait, this isn't who she's presenting herself to be. This music is different and it's interesting and it's a vibe and it's like nothing, you know, that we've heard from a TikTok star before. So now people want it. And throughout the beginning of 2022, you start seeing her posting pictures that are a little more artsy, a little more seductive, a little more mysterious. She's kind of living this party girl lifestyle. She's living this travel lifestyle. She's keeping it to herself. She's happy. She's no longer in a relationship with Bryce Hall. She's now in a relationship with this drummer. I don't know his name, but nobody knows really much about him. He's just a drummer, and they're vibing and they're hanging out. And if she posts a TikTok, it'll be like her traveling in Bali or something, and it's like this aesthetic or like this just silly video with her friends. And I think she like stopped posting a crazy amount and just started posting what she wanted. And, you know, a video of her in a bikini with her friends dancing at the beach, or just like a video of her face listening to Lana Del Rey, when people are like, oh my god, a TikTok star listens to Lana Del Rey, which I think is dumb, but it just showed that her starting to become more authentic really was making people want to know her better, want to get to know her, and want to understand and want to see more from her, as opposed to the overexposed like character. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Anyways, by the fall of 2023, Addison decides to release her EP, AR. Her EP, AR, has the songs that I had just previously mentioned: To Die For, It Could Have Been You, Nothing On But The Radio, and I Got It Bad. It's 4 songs and it's 4 songs and I literally cannot remember them for the life of me. But anyways, she releases this EP, and her biggest song on that EP is To Die For featuring Charli XCX. So enter Charli XCX, queen of hyperpop. We love Charli XCX. She's been a mystery for so long, but she's been in the public eye for also so long that I think some people don't even realize it's her. I mean, Boom Clap was her, Fancy, her feature on Fancy was her, like all of these things. She was such a staple for so long, and her music was everywhere, and I just don't think people really knew it was her. She does have this mysterious aura around her. She really knows how to make her moves, how to market herself, how to really just like do it. And her not only producing AR, Addison Rae's EP, but featuring on a song and kind of being like, I endorse her. I think Charli XCX's stamp of approval for Addison really made the perception of Addison change in a lot of people's minds, because no longer was she in the LGBTQ community. Not only was she being praised in that community, but she was also being praised in the general public now. There was this seeping line, and she was really getting both genres. And I separate them because on the internet, it is very much separated, and there is like a difference. And I think sometimes things that are in communities spread to the general public. Currently, an example would be Wicked. Like on TikTok, there's a whole theater community, and Wicked is a big part of that. It's a very big Broadway musical, but now with the movie and with Ariana Grande, it's like seeped into the general public, you know? So that's what I'm saying. She seeped from being this like kind of secret gay pop icon to now seeping into the general public and becoming just this like new transformed person who people were not aware of, even though maybe her music had released all year, but people were not realizing that this was maybe her until she released her EP, mind you, she also made it so that it was a quick turnaround, which I think helps, because she did it so quick that I don't think people had the chance to criticize it. They were just like, oh, new music, what is it gonna be, instead of being like, hater, this, that, third. It was so quick that she didn't allow people the time to judge. Like, it was announced August 14th, I believe, and released August 18th, like 4-day turnaround, very quick. And I think that was really smart. But anyways, she released her music, and it did not, at least on my end, wherever I saw it, did not receive hate. Maybe a little bit. Maybe some people were like, oh, I don't love this. Oh, Nothing On But the Radio was supposed to be Lady Gaga's. She stole it. She's this, she's that. And I was just like one or two people, but then it's like, no, hey, that's her song now. Like, she has it. It's hers. But the new lyricists, the new songs that she had, her vocals, it wasn't perfect, but there was just like some auto-tune effect. Again, Charlie's endorsement, Charlie's like effect on her music, I think added just a layer. And then also being featured on To Die For. All of the girls, all of the it girls on the internet are posting this song. The song becomes a big thing. It's on the general public. People are seeing Charlie XCX hang out with Addison Rae, and there's this other girl, Lexi. I can't remember her name, but I'll put it on the screen. I'll put up a picture of her. But these three are really hanging out. Addison's really living party girl life. You're seeing this different version of her, but you're also not being overexposed. She's not doing interviews. She's not overexposing herself. She didn't do any promo for her album. It was a quick turnaround. She released it. She gave the people exactly what they wanted without making them be sick of her, because I think she was aware that people were still not ready for her voice to be out in the public. However, right after this album release, she was again in another movie, which was Thanksgiving by Eli Roth. I'll put up the movie. I cannot pronounce a single person's name, and I forget everyone's name, so I am so sorry. I should have written this down, but again, this is my refilm, so I'm tired. But yeah, basically she's in this film, but she's part of an ensemble cast. She is not singular. She is not the driving force of the market team. She is simply in the cast. There are bigger names acting wise in that cast, and I think just her being part of something without her being the driving force of that thing really made it so people appreciated that. And I think also her being in another film after having her first like film credit be in He's All That gave her experience on set, gave her experience with other actors, being with actual like ensemble cast. And I think most of the people in the ensemble were in theater, were in this, were in that, take their stuff like seriously. I think just being around other actors that like cared about the movie, this is sounding really bad, because not to hate on the other movie, I just genuinely think there wasn't that much care put into it as much as in Thanksgiving. Not saying that it's like a feature amazing film with like crazy scores. I just mean like you can tell that there was a little bit more care put into it, and that, you know, it's a horror film, so you see this more like different vibe coming from her specifically, and from a cast. I mean, a cast who's been in plenty of different things. You know, you see differences in acting, differences in this and that and the third, and you see their connections, and you see what she's learned. And I think the time from being in her first film to being in her second film gave her the time to grow as an actor, and I think that's what she needed. I think she didn't need to be in the limelight. I think her allowing others to have the limelight and her stepping back is what gives people more time to appreciate her as a person. Because when I tell you that movie came out and everyone was like, oh my god, didn't even know Addison was in this film, oh my god, went to go watch it because Patrick Dempsey was in this film, or Milo Mayhem was in this film, and she's in this film, that's crazy. She did great. I didn't even notice it was her. The second she stepped away from the limelight, people were more interested, and I think that's a big lesson in so many personal rebrands. Once you step back, once you take a breath, once you're like, okay, let me analyze what's going on, what am I doing wrong, I think you realize that you just need to be your authentic self. And if that means not being center stage, that means not being center stage until you need to be. And that is where I'm heading towards next. So after this movie was released, I believe it was towards the end of 2023, we go to March of 2024. In March of 2024, we see the release of Von Dutch featuring Addison Rae. This song was also just like a classic song that most people were loving, but it was one of the first releases to start promoting Charli XCX's album Brat. You might know Brat as Brat Summer, as Green, as Brat SNL skit, as literally everything that was 2024 entirely. And so basically, Charli XCX, I'm blanking so hard, but Charli XCX using Addison Rae as a feature on her remix single, I think was so smart because people wanted to know more. People wanted to know more about Addison, and I think Charli XCX knew this, and I think she used it to her advantage. Because at the end of the day, Addison's not crazy singing on this song. She's simply ad-libbing, adding to Charli's vocals. I think it's just like, it kind of sounded like a song that you're making with your friend. You're having fun, you're at a party, like you're just drunk and you're having fun and there's no care in the world. And I think people enjoyed that. I think people enjoyed seeing that authenticity, and I think that is exactly what Charli wanted. And I think because of To Die For and because of the EP, it really just seeped in beautifully to Charli's kind of world. And I think adding her into this feature just pushed it a little farther. And I will be saying this, Addison kept pushing her authenticity, her creativity, herself as a person. And I think her pushing herself, but not pushing herself onto people, is what inevitably gained respect in the public. So now it's Brat Summer. We love Brat Summer. Brat Summer was amazing. I also think it's interesting how last, like, 2024 summer was green, and then 2023's was pink. And I think, like, with Wicked, I just think green and pink are, like, I don't know, I think it's fairly interesting how color scheming and the world and everything works. I think that's just super interesting. However, it's over. Brat Summer is over, but the remix album comes out. So we're still writing hard on Brat Summer. I think people were like, Brat Fall. It was going into July, early August. And so what does Addison Rae do? Addison Rae decides to release a song called Diet Pepsi. People are like, Diet Pepsi, that's such a weird name of a song. I wonder what the song is. People started wanting to know exactly what was going on. And I believe she announced the song about a month, 3 weeks before she released the actual version of the song, which again, I can appreciate. Why? Because she's making sure people don't have time to shit talk her. Sorry for my language, but I think what she's doing is so great because it allows people to still view her in a positive limelight and not give them this time or this space to start having negative feelings toward what she is doing. So she announces Diet Pepsi. She's doing all these visuals. There's snippets of a song. This song, however, is not Diet Pepsi. And once Diet Pepsi does come out, there's a crazy frenzy. One, because people are like, this is not the song that she teased. Two, because the music video. In the music video, she is just dancing in the car. She's being weird. She's being hot. She's being sexy. She's being mysterious. She's getting like ice cream licked off her feet from Jason, Pretty Little Liars reference if you did not get that. But it's a weird vid. And me personally, I loved it. Because it's so weird. Like, because no one's gonna do that unless they're 100% comfortable with doing that, and she's 100% comfortable with doing that, and she knows she's hot, and she knows she's funny, and she knows there's like this like, she knows that there's this like manic pixie dream girl thing about her, and she's really playing to it, and she's really doing it. I mean, her makeup, her hair looked just gorgeous. She just looked gorgeous, and I think the juxtaposition of her weird dancing and imagery along with her beauty is just, that video was in my mind playing constantly for like a good week. And I think that's what she wanted. I think she wanted people to be like, whoa, that is not who we thought she was. Like, she wanted to give that element of surprise, and she did that. And like I said, she pushed her creativity, she pushed herself as a creative, and she pushed her authenticity. because that is her. She's authentically being herself, but she pushed it just a little bit. Because yes, naturally, you're creative, you think of these funny things, but you gotta just push yourself. You gotta think outside the box. And I think that's what she was doing with that music video. And I think it was gorgeous and I think it was beautiful. And I think Diet Pepsi really solidified her in the general public. I think people were like, this is Addison Rae. And it was no longer Addison Rae TikTok royalty. It was Addison Rae pop princess. Which, like I said, with the mystique, with her authenticity, with her creativity, I think that really helped push and propel her. And then finally, going into the rest of 2024, she has, sorry, I'm blanking out so much. She has perfect timing, because as Diet Pepsi was dying down, so just imagine Diet Pepsi's going down, she announces Aquamarine. We're going back up. This woman has perfect timing, and she's great, and she's awesome, and she's doing things intelligently, and I can appreciate that. I can appreciate her timing. I can appreciate that she keeps pushing herself as a artist, as a creative, as a musician. I just think it's amazing. But following her single Diet Pepsi, she announces Aquamarine. So remember that snippet I was talking about earlier? Now that snippet is what she's releasing, and people start to hang on to this snippet, and they are really excited for what the song will be. And she released the song, again, very quick turnaround. I think she announced it and a week later it was out. Like, it was a quick turnaround. Like I said, she just knows the timing for people to not be able to talk about her in negatively. Like, she only receives that positive review because no one has something terrible to say yet. And so she releases Aquamarine in October of 2025. So there's like, from August to October, there's like a month difference between those two songs. And I think that was perfect. I think that was perfect for a single. And I think, personally, me, she's following the 3 single album routine most musicians do follow and go into. But I will get to that. So Aquamarine releases all of these clips, all of this energy, all of these videos, all of this aura around this single is very much Mako Mermaid's H2O, very much Aquamarine, very much just 2000s, very much sexy, very much vibe. The way I feel like she, maybe this is maybe just my brain, but I have recently been watching the OC, and the actress Misha Barton, I just feel like Addison has that like beautiful youthfulness, but the sexiest, this sexy, mysterious, like party girl vibe. I just think that vibe that was Misha Barton's character in the OC is Addison Rae's actual active vibe, which I think is beautiful. I think it's great. I think it's amazing. And I think it's super interesting because you don't see many very people like that. And as Aquamarine came out, again, frenzy in the public. People were obsessed with this song. And many people still are. There were so many videos, all of these, again, the ickros of the internet, just in love with this video. And I think the choreography was amazing. People were recreating the choreography on TikTok and doing everything. And again, I just think she pushed herself as an artist. She created a song that was still even more different from Diet Pepsi, even more different from her EP, really giving the people that allowing people to see her experimentation in music, and allowing people to see her push herself as a creative, wanting to know what's coming next, because she knew what to release and she knew what her strong suit was, and she waited. Because I think, personally, I believe Aquamarine is a better song than Diet Pepsi. I think they're both amazing, but I just think Aquamarine just is a little stronger. And I think she knew that, and I think she is deciding to keep releasing stronger music so people don't see a dip in her creativity, in her growth as an artist. And that's the thing. She's always given the exact amount of time. She's always given the right amount of time. She's always known when to experiment on her creativity, when to publish that creativity. She just has this perfect timing, and I think that all comes down to management and timing, and just her as an artist just wanting to do what she wants and knowing where her strengths lie. I think the whole rebrand, and the staple of the rebrand is mostly that She learned how to authentically be herself, and she learned what she loves about herself. And I think being self-aware and really loving yourself and finding who you are as a person really allows you to shine through. And I think that's what's going on. She's shining through, she's being authentic, and she's not hiding anymore. She's not saying yes to everything, but she doesn't need to. And I think that's why this rebrand is working. Next to what I mean, the 3 single and then album release. She has just now started to do interviews on smaller podcasts. She has started to kind of seep into the public, saying the right things. There was a rumor that she was going to be Britney Spears in the new biopic. She very quickly debunked this. And with respect to the community, she said, I believe nobody should play Britney Spears except for Britney Spears. There's something you can't replicate that. And I think by her admitting she is not trying to replicate Britney Spears, she's not trying to replicate Lady Gaga, she's not trying to replicate anybody. And by stating those are icons, those are legends, you do not touch the legends. I am myself and I am not them. I think that little snippet of that podcast of her interview really made her more likable, because she's understanding that she is her own person, but she is not better than anyone or exactly on the same level as anyone, because no one is the same level as anyone until you are. And even like people that are on the same level never will say we are on the same level or I am better than you, because it's just about being humble. And I think that small snippet showed that she is humble, showed that she knows who she is, shows that she knows her craft and she's not trying to be anybody else. And I think because she's doing all this press, a new single will be coming out at some point. Like I said, quick turnaround. She's quick. This is kind of something that I've noticed about her brand, about herself. And there have been rumors about a new album, which she has not debunked. So I believe what is coming next is an album, including maybe songs on the EP and the song that she has released. So it would be around 4, 5, 6. It'd be around 4 new songs that would create an album, which would be Addison Rae's first official album, which I think would be coming in late 2025, as I'm seeing everything kind of go, or maybe summer of 2025. Anyways, that's what I'm seeing for the future. I am seeing more of that creative push. I'm seeing more artistic videos. I'm seeing, just her being authentically herself, a little bit more presence in the public eye, interviews, red carpets. I think she will be seeping back into that, because she did perform with Charli XCX and Troye Sivan on the Sweat Tour. She was at the MTV Music Awards. She is seeping back into the public eye, but she's doing it slowly, and I think it's working in her favor, because she knows when to pull back. And I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Miss Addison Rae in the future, and we're in the presence of a future legend. I just know that girl is gonna do amazing things. She's going to flourish in whatever she does, because she's so smart in her timing. She is so smart in her creativity. I think the people she's surrounding herself are really amplifying that, and I think she just has such a light and happy aura that you can't really be mad at, because there's nothing that she's doing that is inherently wrong. She is simply being herself and being a girl and being 25 years old and living her life. And yeah, that's the best rebrand you can see. Really, it's really just a girl finding out who she is from the age of 19 to 25. So that's just kind of my recap on everything that's been about her. I did write an article about this, so if you want to read that, I will link it down below. But yeah, I'll just see you guys at my next video. Subscribe down below, and I love you all.